On the rights of workers being drafted. The Grand National Assembly of Sordland will vote on a bill on Thursday to protect workers' rights in Sordland. The supporters are calling the most ambitious pro-labor legislation in decades, and which one USP representative has dismissed as the worst bill in the Assembly. Really? The Workers' Protection Act has strong support from both the PFJP and the NFP, as well as labor leaders. The bill was a result of a bipartisan effort from the leading figures of the PFJP, as well as the Minister of Health, led by Pascal Benuel. It was proposed to the Assembly by Representative Albin Clavin from the USP. Minimum wage. Safety and protection guidelines. It also makes it illegal for corporations to force workers to do unpaid overtime work. I mean, these things should be implemented anyway.
Yeah. The reason you saw like massive radicalization by people in real life was because they didn't have stuff like this.
At least the People's Freedom and Justice Party and the National Front are with us.
Oh, good.
President meets with Business Council. Yeah, we just did that, right? We had dinner in a 5-star Asteria restaurant. With leading figures. And marble mine disaster, 112 dead. Yeah, just die everyone. The main support shaft in the coal mine collapsed. Yes, the rescue operations are continuing without any sleep. And families of miners and people of Marble showed up in protest at the site of disaster. Coincidentally, the workers' rights bill that was being drafted in the Assembly for the past few months comes too late. I of Sordland are now turned to President Rayne to see his decision on the bill. Well, we will get those workers' rights, for sure.
Yeah, or else people are going to get very mad.
What is this? In Arvory. Car bomb attack.
Oh no.
Car that was parked. Other police reported that there were no casualties. Okay, that's good. Immediate investigation found that the car was rigged with a timed bomb. No perpetrators have been found connected to the incident. Investigations are ongoing and details are not shared with the public, but maybe with us. And in Rebel, we have a school poisoning connected to the British woman. Vilma Asir, who was working at the school kitchen, was apprehended with connections related to last week's school cafeteria poisoning. Oh yeah, I remember that. That was found to be politically motivated, as the perpetrators are connected to the band British Freedom Party. Remember the British Freedom Party?
I remember them.
Asir is suspected to have been an active member of the British Freedom Front since the start of this year. He has been sentenced to 60 years in prison.
Wow. Why would you poison children? For your party?
I don't remember.
Awful.
What do we have left? That was it, I think. Take a look over the map. Yeah, there's one thing here in Holsort. There we go, the budget allocation. In the White Room. The preparations for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered in the White Room for the important occasion.
Oh wow, it's a lot of people.
Oh my god. Nearly half a year had passed since my inauguration. The cabinet looked overworked. 1. I would like to use this opportunity for a statement. 2. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. It's finally time to discuss the government budget. 3. Welcome everybody, great to see you.
I mean, 3's just nice, but you might want to tell them something, I'm not sure.
At the meantime, his budget is 0, is Joe saying. Yes, I know.
Yes, it is at 0, but at least we're not negative. I'm quivering in my loafers with excitement, Mr. President.
Oh, you're just quivering in your pool.
Sadly, Peter Vector, Gus Manger, and David Whiskey won't be attending this meeting.
Yeah, we have a whiskey and a cognac.
Yes, we do. They are working on the upcoming trade agreements with Wayland and Agnoli. May the Lord be with them.
There's no Lord. In this country there is no Lord anymore, otherwise we would not be in this disaster.
This is true. God has abandoned Sordland.
I bet Peter is getting drunk. Sweethead, I think so too. Dutchy knows his drinks. Sierra gave a barely disguised eye roll. Like,
Did you just roll your eyes at me, young lady? If I did, it's because religion has no place at a government budget meeting. There it is. I knew something like that was going to happen.
we have a bee fight.
Yep. I was merely expressing my wishes for a successful trade deal. Freedom of expression must be protected at all costs. Must it not, Miss Morgana? Morgana, not Morgana. Actually, in this case, I agree with Sia, Miss Walda.
Sierra flashed her an appreciative smile.
According to Sordland's laws regarding the separation of church and state,
She broke off as she noticed that Simon, Lucian, and Joseph were looking at the three female ministers in stony silence. What are they doing?
Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea.
1. Please leave your religion at the Maroon Palace gates, Mrs. Gruff. 2. The Lord is always welcome in these halls. 3. Don't comment. Dick. Simon started loudly shuffling some documents around. All eyes turned to the Minister of Economy. Let's begin, Mr. Hull. Thanks to Simon's expertise, I'm sure we will achieve lots of great things today. Let's begin, Mr. Hull.
Gladly. Today is a big day. We must prioritize our spending wisely in order to achieve the goals we set as a government. While maintaining enough political support, if I may add, promises were made during the election. There are three options regarding the budgeting of the four main branches of the government. It's either we increase, maintain, or decrease the funding.
How can we decrease the funding?
Everything
is bad.
Increasing will result in an improvement of the branch, which will unlock new policy options. Maintaining will keep the funding, resulting in no visible change. Decreasing causes a loss of efficiency in that branch.
2. Is it possible to maintain as much state control as possible? 2. The problem isn't the amount of money spent, it's how efficiently we spend it. Click.
It's true that many of our policies could be far better implemented. Our welfare systems are full of issues that need to be addressed, for instance. We have to be careful as to what we fund so we have resources remaining for other investment projects.
1. We should prioritize the most critical branches. 2. We have to keep true to the election promises. Our people voted for us because of the promises we made. 3. Reduction of funding in certain branches can help fund investment projects. Are we going to stick to our promises? You know, those promises that almost every politician will not do? Are we going to be the president that is finally going to do it?
This is a hard decision. I don't know.
I'm going to go with 1. That's the same argument as you would say, times change. We should prioritize on the most critical branches. Yeah, what if everything is critical? We should prioritize on the most critical branches.
Agreed. We have to make strategic decisions about our budget since our resources are fairly limited. Before we begin our discussion, there's one more thing that I want to voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we are obviously able to go into debt to invest in different branches.
Yes. Money printer goes brrr.
Although debt is a possibility under these circumstances, it would dent our financial system, worsening the economic crisis if we pushed it too far. A point from me as well to everyone before the discussion, given the current state of the country, the economic situation is a political priority right now, more so than ever. This budget will also be applicable to our entire term. It is very critical that we plan correctly. Yes.
Let's begin.
Let's begin then. Which branch should we discuss first?
Let's talk about the healthcare.
Our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our healthcare service is far worse in low income and rural areas.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I think that was with this guy as well.
Yes. Therefore, I think we should receive more funding to address this disparity. I agree. We have recently begun an investigation into healthcare in Narble, and the rumors are not good.
Oh, I think that was her and him
Is
that
she?
we met
Yes, I
there.
remember her. Yeah.
You know, that place where people sometimes don't even have shoes, I think.
Yes, everyone. Yeah, everyone was very poor.
No
And
shoes, no water. Yeah. Well, that's true, but can we do that? We will see.
if we don't increase spending on health services, we at least need to maintain it. Otherwise, we are putting lives at risk.
I agree with that. We cannot lower
It's
it.
true. We have just started a new analysis on what would happen if a pandemic struck Sordland. According to the results, if our healthcare facilities remain in their current state, the death toll would be unimaginable. Oh no.
A pandemic.
I don't
I
know
never heard of a
anything about that.
pandemic in my
No.
life. I don't know what that means.
I'm not even talking about the damage to the economy. This is a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such.
Sweethead is saying, "Puth," as if a pandemic is likely to happen. Of course not.
It's not gonna happen. That's
It
something
doesn't
that
exist.
happened like
It's fake news.
no. Fake news. Doesn't happen anymore.
1. That's indeed worrying. We should try to fix whatever we can as the government. Typical politician answer. 2.
Yes.
That is only if a pandemic happens. Oh my god, this game. 3. We need to improve our healthcare. What else are we here for if we can't keep our people alive? I'm just gonna stay as a politician here, I guess.
Alright.
The other two aren't just not good enough answers that I can give, so... I hate to do these answers, I hate it. Let's discuss the law enforcement.
I would like to have an increase in the funding of law enforcement to increase the size of the police force and raise salaries.
Will there ever be a ministry that says, we can go with less money? Do you
No.
really think that ever happened in the entire history of humankind?
I
That
don't
a
think
minister
so.
said, I want less money because we have too much. Okay.
We have so many internal threats to tackle, and I'm already stretching my units far too thin with the limited resources allocated to me.
Do it.
Law enforcement is certainly a high priority. However, I feel tackling internal corruption is of far higher importance than increasing our police presence. They all want something. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world won't help us. We need a specialized anti-corruption police unit, which we could create if the funds were directed to me.
And how is an anti-corruption police unit going to work then?
What if the anti-corruption
How does
unit
that
is
work?
corrupt?
How are they gonna... Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
Oh god.
I agree with Miss Morgna. We should not reward a structure that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. Additionally, corruption is the reason of our government inefficiencies. It needs to be tackled.
Well, I agree that that needs to be tackled because we had once a pop-up that the police was working together with for organization.
Yeah.
That is happening right now.
The police is there to serve and protect the people of Sordland, Miss Walda, and that is exactly what they were doing.
Not always.
Not all of them. More funding will allow us to take care of our police forces. It is quite a simple choice given the current status of the country.
I don't really agree. I agree with Lilius. If this was another time, I would have said something different, but we know the current situation. 2. I agree with Nia. We need real solutions for real problems like corruption. 3. I agree with Sierra. What will people think of us if we fund the police after all that happened? Yeah, exactly. I think we have to go with 3.
It's true, because they were working with some of the political
It's
organizations.
time to hear the opinions on the military, and then we get Mr.
no.
Joseph again with his beautiful forehead.
What is there to hear about? I already voiced my opinions.
Yeah, that's true. We can also not lower the military because we are at close to war.
Yes, Rumburg is coming whether we like it or not. If not this year, next year. If not next year, the year after that. Mr. President, you and I have shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies, and I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say that with certainty, if Rumburg doesn't make a move against Sordland in 2 or 3 years, my name is not Iosif Lancia. Okay.
Joseph was beginning to lose control of the volume of his voice. What is happening?
There can be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there is an enemy on our doorstep waiting for us to make one wrong move. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. Yeah, he's yelling now. Mr. Lancia? Right, pardon my theatrics, sir, but this is a serious matter. The future of our country is up to you, Mr. President.
Let's become part of Rumburg. Then we are a monarchy.
I know, or we can just be a vassal. We'd be their vassal state. Well, here is an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined for our people while stoking fears for an upcoming war.
Okay.
The issues with Rumburg can be solved diplomatically. What kind of a message are we sending to them and the whole world if we suddenly start ramping up our military budget?
I have to agree with this.
Yes, this is true.
If they see that we are raising our military funds and we have more military, they see that as a provocation. And of course, they are the bad guys. They are just doing all these bad things to us. But the world must see that we are the victim and not the causer of all of this.
Yeah. Yeah,
we can get Arcadia on our back when we are getting attacked. I'm sure about it.
That we are ready to defend our nation, Miss Walda. Exactly.
I agree with Joseph. Rumburg is a real threat and we need to be ready. 2. I agree with Sierra. We need to be as diplomatic as possible. Yes, we do. 3. There are other more important avenues that our money can be better spent on. I'm gonna go with 2.
Yep, that's a good decision.
We agree with her again. What about education?
Our education system is lacking, not only in funding, but also in modern curricular principles. Our outdated curriculum is wasting our youth. I don't think money can change that, though. That is the reason why I advocate 2 things: an increase of the budget to improve access to education in rural areas, and a new education reform. To be honest, Sordland is lacking compared to Arcasia and United Contana when it comes to education levels. The backbone of any country is its people, and we need to protect our future. We need to ensure the new generation is well educated as their counterparts in more modern countries. Nonsense. Sordland is still here because of this very system that you insult. How can you insult a system that teaches our sons and daughters the principle of national identity and pride? We won't be compared to other countries. Sordland is Sordland.
What's that?
I agree. Lily is Sordland is Sordland.
Oh my god.
Everyone's just rising up here. I must also remind you that we promised that we were going to focus on education during our campaign.
And I will. Education solves everything. If you have better education, people become more enlightened as well. It's so good. It's so good. 1, you are right, Lucian. We can't let people down. 2, Lilius is right. We will pave our own path. We didn't get this far by imitating Arcasia or United Contana. What is that kind of argument? 3, I agree with Sierra. It's high time we invest in education and enact reforms. I will think about it. Yeah, right. I'm gonna go with 3. I think we're gonna put a little bit more budget to our education system. And I think most of the rest is gonna be the same.
Very good talking points from everyone. Well then, the time to make a decision on the budget has come. Consider it with care, Mr. President.
So we are president and we have three things we can get across. Do we do this, that, or that? That's our job. Isn't that beautiful? Simon placed a stack of papers on my table.
Oh no, here
The
it is.
term budget of health. The healthcare system of the country was at a crossroads. Since the 1940s, the difference in quality between urban and rural hospitals was getting worse, and the average life expectancy dropped. The situation was becoming relatively dire. Your final decision. Upon selecting one of the options below, you will sign an irreversible order. Please think carefully, because there will be no going back. So if we decrease and let people die, then we have more money. Isn't that
true.
beautiful?
Uh-huh.
I think we have to maintain. As much as I would like to increase, it is not the worst problem, I think.
You can go into debt, though. Which, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, I don't think.
But we are still in a recession. How can I increase the... Yeah,
That's
in a
true.
recession, you need to go in debt. Yes,
Yeah,
we are going
yes.
to increase.
Alright. Tape down the money printer, I think.
Yep.
Just tape it down.
Education. Increase education. Mine's too. We are just going to spend all our money.
Okay.
I mean, why would we not spend all our money? It is just something worthless, right?
Yeah, that's how modern states run. They're all in debt.
Money is
in
just
debt.
a number.
Mm-hmm.
It's the motto of our channel, right? Money is just a number.
Exactly. You just focus on
I think I'm
adding
just going to
points.
go full into debt. I love it. I'm going to do it, I think. I'm going to do it. And if we have a problem, then we just do a great reset. And okay.
Exactly.
All the things that were that are getting bankrupt, we just completely start over. All the loans will be gone.
Exactly. You declare bankruptcy.
Yes.
That's what that's called. Yes. That is what that is called. Uh-huh. It has no bad things attached to it. You guys should try it sometime in real life, by the way.
Should we actually do it?
Well, I don't... So, Eterno told us that you can go into pretty far debt without, like, significant bad things happening, so... I think so. But I also don't want to be the one who's ruined the playthrough when, like, our country...
Nah, we are just gonna do what most countries do, right? They just go to over 100% of their GDP into debt. We are not at 100%, so we still have room. I'm gonna do it. The law and enforcement increase.
All your ministers are just gonna be surprised. They're like, "Oh,
yeah, nice.
Oh, nice."
Increased crime, lawlessness, and the new wave of immigration has pushed many elements of the law enforcement to their limits. Judges at courts are barely keeping up with the backlog of cases. On the other hand, the police are overburdened.
You could have restricted immigration so it wouldn't be
I'm gonna maintain this one.
Alright.
-2. The military. The armed force of Sordland is one of the most respected branches of government. It protects the country from hostile nations. Yeah, we are gonna maintain. We are not gonna increase it because that could trigger a aggressive sign to Rumburg. So we will maintain our military.
You don't want to start a Cold War, an arms buildup.
-2. It's not too bad, actually.
No, it's not bad.
Your promise will be remembered and they will have consequences. Are you sure about your decision, Mr. President? No. I have to click yes. I had finished allocating the government budget to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and the dismay of others. They and I knew this would define a significant part of our term.
We have a deficit on our hands. We will need to resort to debt. We will need to resort to debt to finance investments. This is worrying. Agreed. Well then, let's start with law enforcement.
Liz leaned forward and put her hand on her chin. Mia was looking down at the floor.
I suppose we'll have to make do with what we have. This is not the best situation for us. I'm not sure what we'll be able to do if the budget doesn't change.
Do you want to be fired?
I know, is that an option? Any statements on the matter, sir?
I'm reading your brain, Joe. Yeah, I did exactly what you wanted to, right? 1. I trust you to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward. The continuation of the existing set of budgetary conditions is in order. 3. No, that should be all.
Just leave. Just be like, okay, goodbye. Our expectations were much higher than this.
Ugh.
We may not have the resources to meet new challenges, but I will find ways to help this nation. Let's hear the Minister of Education.
I'm so happy. Sierra was eager to comment. We have money, we can do it.
The increase in funding is very welcome. We can finally go after comprehensive improvements by building new schools and improving the education system. Surely a well-funded and larger Ministry of Education would benefit everyone. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance.
1. Education is our future and it will not be sidelined. Our focus on it is clear. 2. Your expertise and passion should enable you to make the necessary changes for improvement. 1.
Thank you. It is great to see positive change in the attitude of the administration for the first time in a decade. The military is next. Oh.
Sierra clearly wasn't finished, but didn't interject. Joseph chimed in.
It is a shame. It's chimed in.
Chimed in.
It is a shame that the military won't be getting an increase. I will have to make sacrifices to maintain our defense.
Lucian seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down at his notepad when Joseph eyed him. With your talent and expertise, you will overcome the issues our military faces. 2. Maintaining the funding was the correct call, especially in light of the threats. 3. Next up is health. Let's continue.
Just be like, goodbye.
1.
It will be harder to do so, but I shall find ways. It is my duty.
Joseph leaned back in his chair.
Let's hear from Mr. Binwall.
Yeah, that's this.
Yes, he looks like a nice man. Thank you, sir. This health budget increase will help me to focus on improvements. Our people will now be safer than ever. I'm also planning to tackle issues like the lack of rural hospitals and the recently worrying numbers of maternal deaths. Welfare must remain a priority for our term. There's no other way around it.
Healthcare is very important for us, and as we move forward, it will improve drastically. 2. Your opinions were noted. Your task to improve the care in the country. Let's do 1.
It feels invigorating to have the weight of the government behind my cause. That covers all branches. Each minister will approach you with their respective policy requests and expectations over the next year. Thank you for your time and participation in this significant moment. The meeting is concluded.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time and effort. Regardless of what happened, I wouldn't be here without you. Don't forget that we are a team. 3. For those who didn't like the decisions, don't take it personally. Let's just do 2. The ministers bid their farewells, some excitedly, others dejectedly. A new word I learned. Dejectedly.
Dejectedly.
The cabinet slowly dispersed out of the White Room. The budget for a term was concluded. Okay.
Alright. Is everything okay?
I have to click continue, apparently. Now first I'm gonna read everything. News. 1954 government budget. After a marathon of 18 hours of negotiations, the Swedish government budget for the current term has been finalized. The government envisaged spending around 27 billion next year, almost 16 billion more than this year. Which sees a major increase in welfare funding. The Ministry of Education and Health, who to all the ministers in Sordland, will see their budget grow more than expected, which will especially improve the quality and accessibility of welfare services around the nation. And they are very grateful.
It's just enough. It's billions.
Relieved welfare. Yeah, look at our order. Everything is bad.
At least we have some green now,
though. Yeah. Do we need to click continue or this thing first? There's some report here. Lucy and Glade reported that so far they have been able to get in total 87 signatures behind the proposal. Work's on the way to increase the support and to reach out to necessary members. There's not enough yet, I think.
No.
Let's continue. I got an achievement. We did chapter 1!
Wow, that was so long. Wow.
We did chapter 1.